Yep. Yep. Y'all ever heard that song with the Migos and what's my man name? Dirty Dave. Y'all ever heard that? I gotta look it up. It's called Carolina. Carolina. Young nigga here, just Carolina. Got got
I don't understand anything the Migos are
it's
saying.
Migo, mama. That's pretty much half the song.
As somebody who can translate, I can try.
No, but literally that is half the song. Yeah, Carolina. Young nigga here, just Carolina. That's half the song. I promise you. But at the time, at the time, we thought we was on to something. Okay, people in South Carolina thought they discovered the Migos because they were hanging with the quote unquote Carolina plug in Dirty Dave, and they played that song at every USC game, football game, out in the parking lot. People from Charleston were telling us who the Migos were, all the way from the Met to Florence, South Carolina. But in essence, they was kind of like hyping us up for what was the time to begin women's basketball at University of South Carolina. But anyway, as I tell the story, y'all, I want to say welcome. It's the Rec Room Sports Crew. It's the boy K with your mama's #1 draft pick. That's Bobby G. Cleveland's own. But Vegas is home right there. We got AP Allen in the building, my guy. I see you, man. 4-time Rookie of the Year candidate. And then, of course, we got JD Jay's in the building. He is going through adverse weather conditions right now as we speak. So we will be monitoring him as he goes and out. Yes, both of my friends are going through adverse weather conditions right now as we speak. So we just gotta keep an eye on both Allen and Jay because we are unaware if they will lose connection. But man, what a riveting game! What a riveting game! If y'all don't know, you've been living under a rock. Final Four weekend is here for both the men's and the women's brackets. The last four standing, and in the women's brackets, it was all number ones. That's why University of South Carolina, UConn, Texas, and UCLA. And we ain't gonna get into it right now because I still want to hit the intro. But y'all saw them intros for the ladies' games, man. I thought they was classy, man. Some real, some real, gave it a little bit of flair. I feel like we don't get enough kind of fandom when it comes to the NCAA games, especially the ladies' games. We get a lot of hype for like men's college football. They got all kinds of videos. They got all kinds of reels, touchdown reels, highlight reels, all kinds of stuff they show like before the game. But I like what they did with the ladies. They gave them a little runway, did their little thing. They was dancing in the mirror. They was jigging. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. In real life, for me, seeing UCLA's team, they were the only team that looked like where they from. They look like a bunch of girls from California. I can't lie to you. I don't know. I can't really don't ask me what I mean by that. But they look like a bunch of girls who play sports in California. They look like they're diverse. Like not only do they play basketball, but they're also good at pickleball. Maybe good at softball. You know what I'm saying? Very, very much so. But the women from South Carolina, oh man, that's all they do. They just hoop. Girls from UConn, hooping. Women from Texas, hooping. That's it. But UCLA, maybe they're a little diverse. They got two sport athletes over there. But once again, y'all, it's one of those times where we are basking in the glow of and the aura of what is the Final Four of NCAA. Bobby G, man, before we get too deep into the conversation, man, what is your perspective from what we garnered yesterday from our episode of Rec Room Sports Radio on ESPN 690, which aired yesterday between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. Go check that out. And what is actually happening right now? Is it? Are we witnessing some change, or should we have already known this? Because we're going to get deeper into it. Just give me the basics, right quick. Basics.
There's a huge change going on, and it starts with Bobby G at top, the women's bracket pool, 96%,
96,
correct pick rate.
Wow,
highest in the nation.
Blowing them out.
My bracket is in the top 10% of ESPN brackets.
What?
So yes, we are witnessing history, and it shall continue.
I'm 100% with that, bro. Big shouts out to you for doing what you do. Alan, real quick, gloss over it, because we still got to get into the show. Final Four right now. First game just happened. What's your analysis? Don't give us all the details. What's your analysis?
Little bits of shock on the outcome the first game. I mean, you kind of figure, this to me was kind of the national championship game in my opinion. So I figured whoever won this game was going to win it all. So it'll be interesting though. We got UCLA and Texas playing right now, so I'm intrigued to see how this game finishes and what matchup we end up getting.
I'm with you on that. And Alan, thank you for joining us through the adversity of Oklahoma hurricanes at less than 20 miles away.
Our Oklahoma dust hurricanes we call tornadoes.
Yeah. Anything that swirls around and scares neighbors, I'm tornado. I'm sorry. Jay, are you there? Are you available? Hello.
Yeah, I am here. I do not see myself on the screen, or I can't hear Bobby. But I thought I was. You can hear me. Everybody can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, man. As you are now observing the game through through closed circuit right now. Your quick analysis before we get into the show. We take a deep dive into it.
Hey, I only care about one thing, and that's the drama. I think Gino needs to kind of dial it back a little bit, man, and he definitely tried to see if he could steamroll him, but it didn't work out, and he wanted to take his ball and go home. I mean, it's great to see South Carolina, excelling and I think taking it to another level. But yeah, it's been it was a great matchup. I wish it would have been called a little bit more consistently, but no excuses. And nobody got their jersey ripped. She ripped her own jersey. Don't get it.
Wow. Yeah, thanks, Jay. Well, on that note, hey man, it's the boys from Rec Room Sports. We got to do In the Hoop Friday night. Let's get it. Yeah, once again, y'all, welcome to the show. It's the boys from Rec Room Sports crew, of course. We are in the building with the homies tonight, man. I got Bobby G in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. Cleveland's on, Las Vegas is home. Just got finished working hard all week long doing the Audible Sports podcast where life and sports meet culture. Also, with Sports Time 216 with our guy Big Mike. Man, busy man. How you feeling today on a Friday, Bobby?
I'm feeling great, like superb, and it's one of those occasions, where you get to like just sit back and think and just reflect on the good you've done, all the crap you might have done in your lifetime, but that one ray of good shines through and just lets you know, hey, you done good, kid. So take this time, if y'all bear with me and acknowledge the good. Y'all know him as QB1. Go ahead. Cam QB1.
Yeah.
Also played his first season of basketball this year. So we got
all right.
three medals on the field. But yesterday we earned our first academic trophy. A Jeopardy style contest in school. Him and the squad won it. He's in the 4th grade. They took out a team of 5th graders to get there, and they'll be participating in the regionals in
Good
2
job.
weeks' time. So,
always great when you can take down the upperclassmen. Yeah. Always great.
There you go. So,
yeah, most definitely, young man.
Job,
that's a big deal. That's a big deal right there.
Hell yeah.
On and off the field. There we go. We're raising student athletes here.
There we go.
Emphasis on the word student. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, then of course we got Alan AP in the building. Alan, man, real quick, I saw you guys working this past week. Did y'all, we got a little more conversation with Grish and Scott out there for the baseball show?
We actually didn't have a show this week, unfortunately, because I had a family thing to do. But yeah, we're getting knee deep. First week into baseball. It's looking pretty good. A lot of surprises. Obviously, Bobby, your Guardians have found a new budding superstar in Mr.
Two.
Chase the Slaughter, as they call him.
Oh no.
He's doing very, very well, and right now leading candidate for Rookie of the Year 1 week in. So, just saying. I mean, it's been pretty fun baseball season so far, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, shout out to me watching old things and thinking they're current, but it's okay though.
Also, speaking of old things, the ABS is making umpires obsolete.
Yes, umpires being upset. We thought we had umpires upset before. No, we about to have some umpires on fire. They're gonna spontaneously combust at the plate. That's really about to be wild. And then of course we got my boy Jay in the building. Jay, I know you said you're not going through adverse weather conditions. It's electrical. That's wild, son. Are you okay? Are you good over there?
Yeah, man. You know, as long as I'm not touching any hot wire, it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, man, we appreciate you for joining us, man. So we might as well go ahead and get right into it while we got a couple of people on. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube because that's what you should be watching us on. Make sure you do get a peek at what we do on Thursdays, as we will be bringing to you more content from ESPN 690 at the Adam John Levy Studios. But right now, we're just gonna keep it real. We at the house, man. We're gonna keep it live. So like we were just kind of discussing, the University of South Carolina defeats the undefeated Huskies. Now, this right here, I think, was one of the major topics of what we were kind of garnering yesterday from our conversation with one of ESPN national radio host Mia O'Brien. Thank you so much, Mia, for joining us. We got a chance to hear her describe her feelings of what she thought would be a classic matchup between both the Huskies and the ladies of South Carolina. I really was one of those people going, yeah, she knows what she's talking about, but I can't wait to see what happens. And it seems as though the pressure mounted, the ladies of Carolina pretty much showed up and showed out, as they say, from where we're from. And I was one of those people where, you know, I stepped away from the game just for a little while and was extremely surprised once I got the update that we were winning going out of the third quarter, you know, and to see the way that all of a sudden, you know, we put the pressure on and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, where normally we see UConn play the tougher brand of defense. I was extremely surprised, extremely excited to see that. So, guys, as we take a peek into what just took place, Carolina versus the Huskies, like what was the standpoint in which the Carolina girls, you know, pretty much took over the game?
Go ahead, AP.
I mean, part of me kind of saw this coming. Just the way South Carolina plays basketball, you kind of figured that if they were able to get any sort of momentum going in that second half, that, you know, they would find a way to get the job done. And it's impressive to the fact that it's an undefeated UConn team. They haven't really been challenged all year long. I mean, what was this? The first time they've ever trailed in the fourth quarter all season. So, I mean, you got to hand it to South Carolina the way they played tonight, and they just kind of shut UConn down. And I know Gino's going to be upset for like the next 5 days, but you know, it is what it is. Come on now. I mean, this is what Don Staley does. They take control, they dominate, and they win basketball games. That's been their MO for how many years now in South Carolina? So I mentioned earlier that I think, you know, this was probably the national championship game in a way. I felt like whoever won this game was going to win the whole thing. I mean, we'll see what happens tonight with UCLA and Texas, but I really feel like South Carolina is going to end up winning the whole thing now. So.
Yeah, you know, this game kind of played out just almost kind of how you expect it. I mean, the two teams are contrasting styles. You can, you live by the jump shot, you die by the jump shot. UConn didn't shoot the ball well. South Carolina made it an ugly game, a physical game. Uh, got to the free throw line, almost 25 times. Uh, dominated the glass, and in the second half, just kind of inserted themselves. Like it wasn't like a sloppy game. It was just ugly, grind out defensive games, and both teams shot under 40%. Uh, and but that's what SC teams have been known for since Don Slade's been coach, right? Being physical, being defensive minded, uh, not relying on outside shooting, just kind of beating you up on the interior. And uh, it was like they got back to that. Last time they played UConn didn't work out, but like they got back to that, weren't intimidated, um, and they won how they wanted to win. Like they played their game, didn't stray from the game plan. Even though where were they down 2 points, 3 points at halftime. Uh, didn't stray, just stayed with the game plan. The players had faith in their coach. Coach had faith in the players, and the execution down the stretch, or in the second half, they just kind of pulled away, and there was really nothing UConn could do when the shots aren't falling. There's very little you can do.
Yeah, I mean, as far as keeping it ugly, it was a pretty ugly game. I mean, South Carolina shot like 40%, and UConn shot like 31% from the field, 29% from field 3-point range,
Yeah.
which, it was definitely an ugly game. But what I guess what stuck out to me as far as the game is concerned is Carolina getting the performances they've gotten from McKeer and Latson. Of course, we know Latson was a leading scorer in the country last season, around 25 point something points per game with Florida State. You didn't really get to see. She pretty much took a back seat, what I'm saying, in the offense, for the majority of the season. McKeer, was pretty much highly recruited. If depending on who you ask, was like the fifth or sixth best recruit coming out of high school. I mean, it's just you're starting to see everybody pretty much play to their full potential. I think that without those two, I think we really have a huge issue. Matchup wise, I just think McKeer and Latson would have paid big dividends in order for Carolina to win,
Mm.
or what some would say the real USC at this point. But it's I hated to see what happened at the end of the game as much
Mhm.
as I just don't know what Gino's issue with Don Staley, man. Like this is something I've spoke about, but it just seems like he does not respect Don Staley as a coach. Don Staley won her championships, and Gino pretty much made the comment there. You win one or two national championships, and they're ready to put your statue outside, and just left a bad taste, man. And I guess with Gino, but hey, hey, we don't win championships that much in South Carolina, so give her a statue. Yeah, she got one or two. Okay, give her a statue. But the bad blood between the two, man. I mean, avenging the last loss. Uh, South Carolina as far as what they lost 82-59, I believe, in the championship game. Last one they faced UConn. So I mean, hey, vengeance. Would love to have seen a better game. I mean, when you talk about Easy Flood, like she did not
Yeah.
shoot well at all, man. Like it was terrible. I don't know, man. I didn't think she only had what 8 points. I think she went like
Yeah,
it's
she shot bad.
yeah, very bad. And I kind of don't like the way the game was called. I think the way the game was called took UConn out of their rhythm. But hey, you still got to make it happen, regardless of how the game is being called or who it favors. Just don't leave no doubt, and that's just the way it ended for him, man. A lot of brackets are busted. It is what it
Like it?
is. Love it. Oh, I thought you were talking about Carolina.
Hmm.
But yeah, I love it. Carolina. Carolina definitely. I thought they didn't really have a chance. If what we talked about yesterday, I mentioned the supporting cast for UConn. They had to pretty much play big. I didn't think that Fudd and Strong by themselves can make it happen for them. I thought it would be take a total team effort, and didn't work out.
Yeah.
Speaking of not working out, Allen is off the screen. I really hope he's okay because it's like he mentioned, there's a tornado less than 20 minutes away from his house. My power
Yeah.
went out. Oh, thanks, Allen. We get it, man. Jay's power's out, your power's out. The life is happening right now for the whole Rec Room Sports team. But you can continue to put comments in the chat, Alan. That'd be great if you can't stick around. But yeah,
Yeah.
Jay, you pretty much hit the nail on the head for what I would have mentioned. They got McKeer, man. In the last 2 or 3 games, I think she's been one of the biggest X factors for the Carolina girls, coming off the bench, not necessarily starting, but playing a starter's role, playing defense, going out there getting 14 points, but it's more like what was she not doing to help improve the standpoint of, Carolina's game, right? And when they needed it the most. Like you said, bro, that to have a poor shooting game from two of the top 2 or 3 scores from UConn, it's wild. And every once in a while, the basketball gods have to align in the right way for a team to win, and especially a team of destiny like the women of Carolina. They this has been something that we've seen come to fruition, where they've been a team all year long. But just like you said, Jay, the players who you know of course, came into the league or into this season, highly touted. Like tonight, like I said, look, 16 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, what are we talking about? Joyce Edwards, 11 points. What are we talking about? This is something that, like you said, they're growing into their own right at the right time. They're peaking just when they need to. One more game left, and the national championship is theirs, and I can't wait. But before the game was over, gentlemen, there was an exchange of words, of glances, of emotions, and it was put on the world stage as we all looked as Gino Auriemma and Dawn Staley. Well, with like point 0.2 seconds left on the clock, had there not been, pretty much a time differential of about 0.2 seconds, Don Staley approached Gino, and the coaches began to mince and shake hands. And I am not sure, because as the post game continued, Don Staley failed, or not failed, but took the high road, if you will, to not go into what was said and what the exchange was about, but instead kind of put the onus on ask Gino. Let him tell you what happened. And I think that's very much of a class act, in my opinion. But for some odd reason, we got to ask the question, man. Do Dawn and Gino have real beef? Like real beef? Like, I'm not talking about they just don't like each other. I'm talking, but I mean, I don't think that there was any showboating involved. Don Staley clearly told the girls during the last 20 some seconds and some change to hold the ball. You know, there's no need to score any more points. The game is won. I think that's kind of like the sportsman-like thing to do, right? Bobby, you've been involved in athletics. Jay, you've been involved on a team, a multiple team. You know, is that not the right thing to do? Like, hey, look, we see we up by 10. It's 20, 30 seconds. Like, we letting it go. But somewhere in the interaction, maybe there's something we missed, maybe before the game, during the game, but third quarter, half after halftime, I don't know, that Gino observed, which threw him off, and he said, look at this uppity son of a who does she think she is? But in reality, gentlemen, are we witnessing the birth of real sports rivalries between coaches that will fester, of course, into next season because it's not over. It's never over.
It's been there. I mean, it's pretty much been there, man. From that, like I said, man, that first loss that Gino took to Dawn, it didn't sit well with him. I mean, when your star players end up shooting 7 for 31, and then your team in total gets out rebounded the way that they did, I mean, it wasn't like a total domination. I mean, 47-32, going Carolina's way. I mean, those are two things that are kind of drive a coach crazy, especially when you think you got two of the best players in the nation that are kind of like unstoppable, with how they've been playing, the last 54 games. It's he's just on, pretty much like get off his lawn. Like it's he I mean, who likes to lose? And especially when your team has been so dominant, man. You don't expect to lose like this, not like this. Not with your team shooting ugly and then going down the dawn. Like you just, he's I don't want to say a sore loser, but I mean, like, look how many times in his career that he had to be humbled, which not very many. You know what I'm saying? And if he does, he comes back better than he did before that. So it's just, you get spoiled by that, man. Winning the way he's won, and he pretty much didn't like the way that he said Dawn was calling refs names that she shouldn't have been able to get away with, and the free throw, the difference between free throws, one team to the other, they shot more free throws. Like, I understand, it's things could be pretty frustrating, but hey. Better luck next year, man. He has a good recruiting class coming in next year. I mean, and, hopefully he gets another chance, and he's looking to steamroll South Carolina as soon as he gets a chance. He probably wants them like first of the season, like, I want them on the schedule beginning of the season. And hopefully he can take advantage of it.
I'm gonna choose my words carefully, because yeah. But the lip readers have come out, and essentially they said what happened was, he said Don Staley didn't shake his hand at the beginning of the game, which was proven to be false because the Twitter detectives got the video and they did shake hands before the game started. So honestly, man, I don't recall Gino having this kind of vitriol towards Miss Mulcahy. I don't recall him having this kind of vitriol towards the late Pat Summitt.
Never.
So my question is, why Dawn?
Right.
Shoot,
There's
Muffin
only-
McGraw. What about Muffin McGraw? Did Muffin McGraw been in everybody's behind when she win or lose? That's another one. But
There's only one difference between them and Don Staley.
hairstyle, is that it?
Yeah, that's a part of it.
The wardrobe.
A particular type of hair, that
None of them was on an episode of Martin. Is that it?
I mean, Gino's starting to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, he's starting to look like a real Trump supporter.
Yeah. That's yeah, we could say that.
And because unless you're on his roster or on his staff, basically somebody he's in charge of, if you're a non-Trump supporter, he has a problem with you. And especially, once he starts taking those butt women's, he has the overall better record between the two. However, Don Staley has won 6 of the last 8 games. So, like, man, I mean, Jay's right. He's coming off like that grumpy old man, like, get off my lawn. But I mean, I don't think it's a B, because I don't think Don Staley really has a problem with him. I think she has a problem, like, in the moment, like when you say something stupid, yeah, she's gonna address you. And like tonight, like, she's not gonna let you just slide and say what you want to say. But when they get in the locker room, Gino's not on her mind anymore. And regardless of what happened, whether they're going to win the chip or whether they don't win the chip, when the season is over, she's not going to be thinking about Gino. But just like Jay said, Gino's gonna be thinking about Dawn. So I mean, like I think it's completely one sided.
I mean, like you said, Bobby, she's won 6 of the last 8 matchups. That's gotta linger in his head. Like, if you lose to the same person that many times in the last 8 tries, mentally it's going to get to you. Mentally, it's going to scar you for a little bit. I mean, I know. In certain cases, I've experienced that with like different teams, and I know this is a basketball show, but this goes to like other sports and what have you.
What
Like,
about OKC and the Spurs?
no.
That's recent.
I mean, the Spurs is definitely been a thorn in our side this year. I still hate the St. Louis Cardinals for 2011, and they're still a thorn in our side every time we play them. So yeah, I mean, you lose to somebody that much in the last 8 tries, especially when most of the times when you two meet up, it's for either a chance at a championship or a chance to go to a championship game. That's gonna mentally draw on you for a while. And yeah, he might be he might be going senile. He is getting old in his age, but you know, it kind of feels like it's a mental thing with him right now. It's just he just can't get past Don Staley for whatever reason. UConn struggles with South Carolina, and they just can't figure them out.
And we said this multiple times, guys. You know, as we get closer to the championship games, the coaches will play a part in everything that we see. You know what I'm saying? The emphasis is on the players. We are seeing the product put out there on the court, but this is a prime example where the coaches are taking center stage. You know, Dawn Staley is class personified in any other essence when we see her, and I think seeing her just a little bit out of that element, pushed by one of her peers to the point of screaming. You know, and everybody seen their mama get upset or a woman you care about get upset. Like you wanna go like calm them down, like and let them know it's okay. Dawn was hot. Okay. Oh, I feel like, you know, like if you see that post game interview before she gets off the court, like emotionally almost pushed the tears, probably because she was so angry. Like I can tell that this is going to be something that we're going to be revisiting for some time to come. But Sports Center, I can't wait for somebody else to analyze it and see what happened or say what happened. Or you know, in the end, you know, we will figure out. I'm pretty sure, just like I said, Bobby got the lip readers are already on the video. Yeah, we're really going to figure it out eventually. But anyway, congratulations to the University of South Carolina women, the Lady Gamecocks, as they move on to the championship game. And it looks like UCLA and Texas are in a heated competition right now. I can't wait to get an update on that. Alan, I'll be waiting on you for a score update shortly. But we will continue on.
Last I checked, it was 20-17 at halftime. So it's very low scoring, very defensive, and
both
not that exciting.
Both games are defensive right now. But anyway, we're gonna move it on. So tomorrow, of course, we have the continuation of the Final Four weekend, where the men's Final Four will be popping off, and this is one of those that I think we've been looking forward to, almost as equally as we have been with the women, because we've been talking about the men's Final Four pretty much ad nauseum for the past few weeks. Big shouts out to Evan, who's been our guy, our man on the floor, giving us the insiders look at not only the players, but the teams and the coaches with his analysis. And that's right, that's Evan Wheeler of P5 Athletics. Big shouts out to him. It's one of those things where the Final Four is the Final Four, and I don't think we anticipated 6 teams from the Big Ten making it into the Sweet 16, but we're here. We are here now, and this is what we have. So, fellas, as we take a step back and join the rest of the world in a moment in which we will probably have all eyes on these next 2 games, where we get to see Arizona, the other Connecticut team, that's right, the Connecticut men's team, Illinois, who I think surprised some, but was not a surprise to others, and the number one Michigan team, or what number one for some time, take the courts. What do we think? Yes, look at this. Now he want to talk. Anyway, let's continue on about with that one.
So if you go throughout the last few years of history, UConn in the Final Four and beyond has not lost a game. Like, even before Hurley got there, they have not lost in the Final Four or the championship game. And yet they are 1.5 point underdogs in this matchup with 3-seeded Illinois. There's a lot of people that for some reason or another do not believe in this UConn team. And I mean, I get it. Throughout the regular season, they've been kind of really lackluster at times this year. And they've had some bad losses that did have some good wins, but the bad losses kind of stick out. But we also got to remember this is Dan Hurley in the postseason. He hasn't lost when he gets this far in the tournament. It's just, UConn's just a different animal when they get this far into the NCAA tournament. Right now, it's kind of hard to pick because Illinois just has that weird style of play where they play good team basketball and they find ways to win games where, and again, a lot of people had them as a dark horse candidate to make it to the Final Four and maybe even get to the championship game. I still don't see them beating UConn tomorrow. I think UConn's going to take care of business. Now, if they play Arizona in the championship game, yes, then I think UConn might have a problem. But I don't know. Illinois could surprise some people like they have all tournament. But to me personally, I think UConn's going to take care of business tomorrow.
I don't know. I agree with Alan, but I just feel like they can be had. The one thing I do know, if for that to happen, Keaton Wagler's gonna have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't mean physically play. I mean he's gonna have to have a big game. He's not played terrible in the tournament, but like he hasn't had that signature game. In the last game, it's a solid game. They had 17, 25 points against Iowa. But this is going to take like more than that. He's going to have 30 pieces. He's going to have a flashback to that mid-season when we watched him drop 46. He's going to have a moment. He's going to have his one shining moment, right, for them to get the job done against UConn. But yes, I would say it's a tough task for them, but I don't know. I don't know what people have against the men's team, man. But I'm a side with Allen on this one. I think they get it done.
I think this is right now. It looks as if like UConn is pretty. I don't know. They've been playing team ball, man. For them to scratch and claw the way that they did, the win over Duke. I just really feel like they've kind of exercised some demons as far as the things that they weren't actually doing very well. But they're playing team ball, man, and they're playing defense. I mean, Hurley, you would think as long as he keeps his head in the game, and he does have a great has a lot of backup with his coaching staff. I just really think that it's all pretty much rested. The ball's in his court. As far as how he handles the team, as far as he handles emotions, going into this Final Four. I just really feel like UConn, and on the other side, I mean, definitely thinking about Arizona. I don't know, but as far as Illinois and UConn, I just think UConn, they've been there before, so to say. Like even if they haven't been there before, I just feel like Dan Hurley is enough to get them over the hump as far as his coaching style. Illinois, same thing. I just really feel like they're gonna need a big game from their freshmen, and that's kind of hard to call on. In a stage so big. So I just think UConn has just championship pedigree, man, championship experience. Like they'll be able to get the job done fairly easier than some people think. We'll see.
And you kind of look at the other side too. You have Michigan, Arizona, two number one teams. Michigan plays great defense. Arizona plays great team basketball. At the end of the day, it's kind of like you have the star players in Michigan, UConn, Illinois. You have a couple good players. There's no really anybody that stands out on this Arizona team, yet they've played like the best team in the country all season. So I'm not betting against Arizona at the moment, but I don't know about y'all, but I just really like Arizona in this spot against a Michigan team that, while yes they've looked pretty good in this tournament, I think if playing against this Arizona team is going to be a little bit challenging for them.
I mean, Arizona doesn't. They have the greatest lucky charm in the history of sports. They have the presence of the great Bryce James. They're doing it for him so that he can have bragging rights in the family. He's already the only member of the family to make it to the Final Four. He's already got that. So they're gonna seal the deal so he can walk into the home, sit down at the dinner table, put his hand on the table, say, "Pop, you ain't got one of these. Neither do you, Bronny." So yeah, that's all they need.
This just in, LeBron James has announced that he's returning to Akron College to play basketball to try to go win a national championship.
He has zero eligibility on the basketball court. He can play golf though.
That's crazy. Now that you say that, Bobby, I was listening to what everybody else was talking about. I wonder, what type of influence that is. You the only look. Everybody else at the table ain't got one. Dad got some other stuff. Pretty much, Lil Bronny don't got much of nothing, right? No much hardware. But if Bryce comes back after winning the championship, got something that everybody else doesn't. Hey man, he's one up on his pops already. But
the only thing Bronny has right now is well, God, what's his name? Our backup point guard. I can't remember his name right now. I don't know why I'm blanking. Right now.
They Brown dropped 40 in the G League though. He got that.
I mean, yeah, I'll give him that.
But Bryce walk up in there with that jewelry. Oh yeah.
I mean, that would be the ultimate bragging right? Like something that then neither father or his brother can say.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah.
Now I'm in that. I was about to say I'm in that space where look, hey, if you can ever get one up on your dad, do it. I'm sorry. Your dad's LeBron James, but I got something you don't. Real talk, everybody pretty much said all the highlights, man. The idea is we've been hearing and having these conversations for about a week or so. One of the things that has rung in my head has been Evan saying about the Arizona team, which is the most elite, the most complete. They're physical, they're dominant on the inside. We get the idea that throughout the tournament, they rode through their region fairly easily, including a win over Purdue, which we thought was a really tough one. Somehow, some way, they've been one of the more consistent teams. What I'm saying, keeping their point totals as the lowest of all four teams that are left. But Illinois, I feel like, is the surprise to me. Once again, I have not been privy to Big Ten basketball. I have not been privy to the other, any of the other regions except for what I'm used to, where it's like ACC and SEC right around here. I get a chance to really put a good eyeball on them. But to think, I had to be refreshed that Andrei Stojakovic was on that team, and he's like, I'm not going to say a mirror image of his father, but if his father was more athletic, I like it. But there are other pieces to that Illinois team that fighting Illini team, that everybody keeps on mentioning. And whenever they get over 75 points, they're 21-0. Who knew? I had no clue. But of course, UConn, we've seen them, and once again, I've said it multiple times. The coaches come out to play at the end of these tournaments. Darren Hurley's been making his presence known pretty much since he stepped foot on a court. But Michigan right now, I think this is like an underdog scenario for them, even though they've been number one, even though they've been at the top of multiple AP coaching polls throughout the season. This to me is a moment where everybody else is looking at them like you could lose, and we would expect you to. What would it be if they did win? What would it be if they did make it to the national championship game? What would it be like if Michigan won the national championship game? It's to me right now with the other three competitors somewhat in their way. It's far fetched to see Michigan making it that far, but I'm excited. I can't lie to you. This is one of those ones where I'm gonna be locked in watching tomorrow, and you know, can't
You've
really
got
get
a
rid of
little bit of everything in this Final Four. You've got the two top contenders. Obviously, we talked about Arizona being the most complete team. You have Michigan, the team that's looking to make history. As they've been saying, this is the best Michigan team of all time. Obviously, you got Dan Hurley looking to continue his excellence with UConn, and then you've got the underdog in Illinois, who is, while we don't necessarily have a Cinderella story in this tournament, they are kind of the Cinderella darling of this Final Four.
Yeah, Cinderella. If Cinderella had a shoe, it would be on the foot of Illinois right now, and the Fighting Illini. And once again, you know, it's not as though we have, as we watch college basketball, they were not prepared to be in the spotlight, but to be in the spotlight, I can't wait till there's really nowhere else for them to turn, and we got to see them play. And it's all or nothing. I mean, these next two games. So big shouts out to the Final Four in the men's bracket, man, and I'm excited, man. We got some pandemonium going on in the women's. We'll have some pandemonium going on tomorrow. So let's go ahead and move it forward, boys, and get to the NBA. Professional ranks. So one of the biggest stories in the past 72 hours maybe has been the injury to Luka Doncic. Man, I don't know what to say. It's wild as we pretty much get a chance to say that through an MRI that Luka took earlier today, that it was revealed the extent of a strain which he suffered in the third quarter of the Lakers' 139-96 loss to OKC on Thursday. Apparently, it's a grade 2 left hamstring sprain, as reported by Dave McMenamin of ESPN.com. While the injury will prevent Doncic from reaching the 65-game threshold needed to be eligible for the end of season rewards, which would include, him possibly, being called up for, MVP. Bill Duffy told Shams Charania that he will apply for an extraordinary circumstance challenge on behalf of his client because Luka was playing out of his mind, and we all saw that. And the team was doing so much better when they began to shift that lineup and not have Luka and LeBron on the court at the same time. And when they did, LeBron taking that secondary, not even that secondary role, but that third scoring option to Luka and whomever he decided to pass the ball to. I feel like it was making some headway because we thought it was going to work so much better earlier this season, but it seemed to be paying off in the fourth quarter of the season itself. So, gentlemen, as we take a peek into what's been going on with the Lakers and Luka, now that we know that he will be out indefinitely, especially through the rest of the regular season, what does that mean for the future of the Lakers and even LeBron? What can we be looking forward to now?
I mean, as far as just we talk about the playoff hopes, man, like You would think, I don't know, that third spot would have been the best spot for them. But now you pretty much got Denver on your tail, and then possibly playing the fifth seed, which could be Houston. If they pretty much just fall just one down one spot, a first round matchup against Houston, and that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a tall order. And then just trying to make it out of the first round, and then who your possible second round opponent could be. Like you're not expecting much. Me personally, I think they've done quite well for what was perceived to be beginning of the season. They weren't going to get it together. That they're going to have a little problem as far as their scoring and who falls in the order of battle, so to say. You got, Luca, AR, and then, LeBron. Will he fall into that role nicely? I mean, he has. But, when you ask more of him from this point on, like, what does that do to him? Like, does that help them, in the long run? Which I think not, because he hasn't played. Doesn't seem like he's been better at this role rather than, I would say, last season, trying to give, number one, pretty much a number one output as far as who's on the pecking order. Like, I just really feel that the best LeBron you can get is a supporting role rather than him do it all, because, you're going to run out of gas, and then your options are low, compared to how they've been in the past. But, I don't think they're going to make it out the first round. I mean, if he does make it back for the playoffs and Luca, then that's great. But defensively, the playoffs are different, man. When you start talking about in terms of defense, let's see how that goes.
I think you kind of saw it in the game against Oklahoma City when Luka got hurt. It just seemed like the entire Laker bench and even just like the game plan itself died. I mean, yeah, they were still out there. They were putting points up. They were still going out there playing ball and whatnot. But it just kind of seemed like the entire energy of the Lakers themselves just kind of got sucked out of the air. And if that's the kind of Laker team we're going to see going into the playoffs, then yeah, Jay, I agree with you. I think they might be a first round exit no matter who they play. But now this is the time where if Luka doesn't come back, then LeBron has to take over. This has to be his team. Because, yeah, you could ask Austin Reeves to do the job, but I don't know. What does Austin Reeves look like in a number one role? We know what LeBron would look like, but we don't know what Austin Reeves would look like. I think it just kind of takes all that energy out of the organization right now, and I don't know what they're going to do going forward, because like the way you mentioned it earlier, Luka just kind of brought all the energy and life into the Lakers, especially when they were on that winning streak. So now that he's out indefinitely, somebody's got to step up if they want to make a run, right?
I mean, you're 100% right, man. I think somebody's got to make a run. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a matter of I didn't have the Lakers going far with Luka. I don't have them going far without Luka. Like, it's just, I mean, it is what it is. They're definitely playing better basketball now than they had been. Luka is playing out of his mind the last month and a half to 2 months. So it is a downer from that standpoint. But when you look ahead, like Jay said, your potential first round matchup, you're going from Minnesota, which is a very winnable series, to playing the Rockets, which is a very losable series. And again, that's potentially but they are your game above the Nuggets. And just looking ahead, you still got a game with the Thunder left. You have a game with the Suns left, who are also jockeying for position. You got a game with the Warriors, who are jockeying for position. So you have some games that you could lose. And as far as the Nuggets, same thing. They got 2 with the Spurs and 1 with the Thunder. Which is like, it's like if they want to prove to them that the Nuggets will either prove to themselves, like is if they go out and beat the Spurs, which then you're like, okay, yeah, we want the Spurs in the potential matchup in the second round, right? Yeah, it's the stuff. It sucks for him, but as far as his agent, man, chill out, man. You and Cade Cunningham's agent, go to like, you want to file this stuff. What about the games he missed due to load management? I bet you wish he played those games now, because if he had, he wouldn't be in that position. So, like, man, stop trying to make y'all voted on the 65. It is what it is. Sucks that you missed out.
And I pretty much put a little bow on this with this one. Like it's I'm not okay. How I'm gonna do this is in my mind, right? The immediate answer is LeBron's got to be LeBron. LeBron's got to turn back the hands of time. He's got to defeat Father Time. He's got to do all of this. Blah, 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 blah. I know that's the answer, but roster wise, the build of the roster includes players like Austin Reeves, who has to become the primary initiator, the primary scorer. I get that 100%. That is what is to be a necessity for them to win. And Uncle Scott, thanks for joining us. We are right around the spot where we're talking about Luka and the extent of his injury and what's going to take place with him. I was just saying that, of course, everybody's going to scream that LeBron's got to go and put on his cape. He's got to go to 0 dark 30 mode earlier than he normally does, right? But Austin Reeves is still here. I can't lie to you. I love the resurgence or the assertion of Marcus Smart's role in the last few weeks. Marcus Smart is playing Marcus Smart type basketball where he's playing like crucial on the defensive end. He's knocking down shots. I really like that. And somebody like else that has to do something eventually. A Luka Nard. Dang, what about him? We have to find the players that are on the roster. We have to go, hey, look, we can't look to anybody else. Batman is not coming out at that locker room. And that's pretty much what's gonna happen. We gotta go with what we know. We gotta go with who's on in here. DeAndre Ayton, wake up. You know what I mean? Empower him with something. He's been having issues on multiple teams with accepting the fact that we need him to do something other than rebound. Go show him that old Phoenix tape when he developed the jumper, and he could shoot, pass, and rebound and defend. He needs to see all of that. But Scott, with Luka's injury pretty much being on the forefront of the Lakers' mind right now, what do you see being one of the solutions of what they have to do to keep
They don't have
momentum?
they don't have a solution.
Oh,
They
thanks,
don't have
Scott.
a solution. They're gonna get swept. They're gonna get swept in 4 straight. They're gone. I mean, LeBron has taken a third role in the offense. Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka can't play together because it's not beneficial. Marcus Smart's been out for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, with this injury. I mean, they're a mess right now. And offensively, can you rely on them to hang with Houston or Denver or OKC or San? You can't. The only way they would have not get swept in the first round is if Minnesota was the first round opponent, but they're not. They're not going to be, because I don't see the Lakers are going to get blown out by the Thunder again when they play them. They have no answers for what the Thunder can do. So I think they're a 4-game sweep. I'm sorry. I don't. Hamstring injuries are a tricky thing. Who knows if we see Luka in the playoffs? If we don't, they're going to get swept. That's the way I feel. This Luka injury right now cost them a seed in the playoffs. So they'll drop from 3 to 4, maybe even 5. and I don't see them getting out of the first round. I don't even see them winning the game, to be honest. So, and
Hey,
that's
look,
something
I had to
that's
go look this up real quick, Uncle Scott. You know who they need to come alive? And I was like, I had to look at it like, who is this guy on multiple occasions? I need Jake LaRavia to come through, man. Jake LaRavia. All right. I couldn't think of his name just now. Oh, I had to go find it, bro.
if you're
That's
going to
right.
pin your hopes to Jake LaRavia,
Jake LaRavia, baby.
just
We
go
need him.
home.
Number
Just go
12
home.
out of Wake
Just go home.
Forest. Defensive versatility. They need him to do. He can shoot. Okay. He can play defense. He can do the things that I just told DeAndre Ayton I want him to do. LaRavia.
Jake
You do
LaRavia
that.
needs to do.
In the words of a certain TikToker that talks about the NBA all the time, who?
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are going to have to count on guys that they haven't counted on all year to step up for them.
Will we get a Bronny James sighting?
Where's Rui been
No,
all year?
he's still
Hachimura.
trying to get his shoes unstuck from Isaiah Joe's backside. So
Yeah, I mean, where's Hachimura been all year? Where have these role players been all year for the Lakers? They haven't been there. So what you're asking them to do in the playoffs is do something they haven't done all year long. Now, granted, you get one game that they could, but a whole series against Houston? Houston wants to bury the Lakers as quick as they can in the playoffs. They don't want the Lakers even hanging around for a game. And we may get a 80% Luka, 70% Luka. Is that enough to beat the Rockets in the first round? I don't think so. He needs to be 100%.
I've watched a couple Rockets games, and I don't know what it is with practically a very similar roster to last year. We're not there yet, but the Rockets defense is not what it should be when you look at their team. So I know we're pretty much foreshadowing that the Rockets and the Lakers will play, but right now the idea would be that might be a 7-game series the way that the teams are set up, But to get a Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, LeBron series for the ages, one last try, But anyway, thanks guys for that opinion, of course, on Luka. Once again, everybody, this is the Rec Room Sports Show. This is in the Hoop on Friday nights. This is what we do with the people, of course, because we gotta. Go ahead, Al. You said you got a Texas UCLA update. Go ahead and give it to us.
got about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. UCLA leads 39-30 over Texas.
Wow. Yeah, Scott, man. Once again, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. You didn't get a chance to put in on any of the comments about the USC UConn game. What do you think about Gino's antics with Don Staley after the game? Did you get a chance to see that?
Yeah, Gino was 100% in the wrong. 100% in the wrong. He was just frustrated. Completely frustrated his team lost. I mean, when you look at UConn the last 2 years, has anybody stepped up and tried to and challenged them in terms of what they want to do and what they can't do? No. So Gino was completely frustrated. He supposedly, from what I understand from Don Staley after post game, was that Gino didn't think Don Staley shook his hand, and it clearly showed on ESPN. She did shake his hand before the game, along with the rest of the staff. So Gino, as much as I love Gino, he's 1,000% wrong in this. I give credit for Don Staley and the staff of South Carolina to hold her back because she was ready to tear into him like limb from limb. So, yeah, Gino was completely wrong in the incident. But kudos to South Carolina. They did everything that whatever UConn wanted to do, South Carolina shut it down completely. So it's the fewest points that UConn scored in the tournament in any game since 2022. So kudos to South Carolina. They look really good right now. But UCLA, I mean, if that's who the opponent is, has lost one game this year. So it's going to be a tough test for them. But I think South Carolina could win the championship.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine, a coworker at work today, tell me something similar. Whoever won this game between UConn and the University of South Carolina women, that will be the champion that will be crowned on Sunday. So I can't wait to check it out, man. Let's go ahead and get into that final topic. We're getting close to the playoffs, but there are some things that just will not go away. 3-point shots, refs flopping, and the idea that Giannis is still in a Bucks uniform but not playing. It's a continuous thing where we have to go over and over again because it continuously garners attention. But what has Milwaukee done to keep Giannis this season? It's mind-boggling because they keep on trying to do something, but I don't know if it's working. The other day, I was checking out some highlights on ESPN, and they had the other Antetokounmpo brother playing. Like, it's the wildest thing ever because it's the equivalent of an ex-girlfriend that you're breaking up with, knowing that you're breaking up with her, knowing that you're going to leave, and she comes with a really nice pair of shoes, and she's trying to win you over because before you leave, like what's one more thing that she could do better before you leave and get out of the door. And I'm not mad about it, but hey, Giannis in Milwaukee, they're giving it one last try because obviously Milwaukee is slightly pretty much falling out of playoff contention. The play-in is not in the future. Giannis returning is not in the future. The Antetokounmpo brothers, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's falling apart. And as I say falling apart, I just want to just recap real quick what I think some of the major parts were that I was looking at online. What were some of the major parts that happened? Remember, they traded for Drew Holiday, and they traded for Dame. Okay, they tried to retool the roster a little bit. They signed Miles Turner. They signed Cam Thomas. After they realized they weren't going to, they don't really need to win. Then they released Cam Thomas because Cam Thomas scores too many points. They were exploring more moves, which the Bucks were at one point linked to a possible Kyrie Irving trade if he was to return, which he did not. That's why he is still a asset for the Dallas Mavericks. The NBA PA accused the Bucks of tanking and holding Giannis out. The NBA opened an investigation into whether Milwaukee kept him sidelined despite being 100% healthy. Giannis pretty much called this a slap in the face, and the team has not been competitive. The Bucks were 29-42, far from playoff contention. They lost 7 of their last 10 games. I could go on and on and on. I really could, but where are we going with this? Where does the Buck stop? Literally, with the Antetokounmpo saga and Giannis, falling out and how and where it will end. When is this going to happen? The last game will be very soon. Are they going to play like a Giannis tribute next? What else can they do? They've done everything.
It's going to be the messiest divorce in NBA history. To be honest with you, I think Giannis has been done in Milwaukee for 2 years. I think some of the actions of what he's done has shown that, and I think the Bucks, they're in full tank mode. And this investigation, Giannis wants to play. The Bucks don't want to play him because they want to lose games to get a higher draft pick. And any athlete, as we all know, what do they want to do? They want to play. If they're healthy, they play. He's healthy. He's healthy. He's healthy enough to play. Didn't he have a triple double in the last game he played or something? And then Doc Rivers said, "Enough. You're done. See you later. We don't need that." Didn't say that outright to him, but said it in words. It's going to be the messiest divorce, I think, in NBA trade history. I don't know what can be possibly done to save this relationship. So I think he's done in Milwaukee, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. You would think basically what you said as far as what could be done, nothing. I mean, the NBA is not going to hold. I don't think they're going to pull any punches because not only are you talking about a player that was healthy enough to play, there's still a lot of cities left on that left on that schedule. That he could be playing in and bringing in some dollars for people who actually want to see him outside of Milwaukee. So when it comes to that, I think alone, the NBA is not gonna pull any punches when it comes to any type of like punishment, handed down to the Bucks. But I mean, what do you do now? You got one of the brothers who got his first game in, which I'm kind of wondering, are there any more brothers left? Like, is I,
All of the brothers have worn a Bucks jersey at least one time. That brother in particular was also playing for the G League affiliate as well. So they pretty much all got an opportunity.
so that's it. There's no more. Right? Because pretty soon we're gonna start talking about cousins and step cousins and all kind of stuff with the same last name. Getting some burn, man. So it's just weird, man. I've never seen a situation like this, never in my life, where you have a bunch of, I'm not gonna say talentless because they made it to the NBA, somehow, you know, but damn, do you have to have the whole family on one team just to those could have been roster spots to somebody, to some no name from a small college that could have put in some good work. We're seeing that. I'm not familiar with backup. His name escapes me for Detroit, but he stepped in nicely. This the NBA is still a league where no names or people, players from like no name schools or just having a different route to the NBA can still flourish, like can still do well. So it's like you actually want to like get all of the same family on play almost the same position on one team. That's great.
I mean,
Like,
I'll go ahead, Jay.
nah, it's just weird. Like it's always weird to me, man. I don't mean to bring up the I guess you say I ain't gonna say nepotism, but it's just weird, man. It's like, damn, y'all couldn't think of nobody else who could have helped out the team. Like these dudes can't bring the ball up. You know what I mean? Like all of these dudes play the same position, bro. Like, what are we doing? So
They
it's
got rid
just
of Cam Thomas, bro. They trying anything right now. They can at least can't put 20 points up on the board.
I mean, look, hey, Sam Merrill getting buckets for the Cavs. Guess what? Sam Merrill was an NBA champion because he was on that Milwaukee Bucks squad.
it's crazy.
Yeah, like, but they let him go. So Jay's absolutely right. But I'm gonna tell you what's really gonna happen. The Cleveland Cavaliers are gonna lose the Eastern Conference Finals, probably to the Boston Celtics. And the Milwaukee Bucks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to come to an agreement to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo to Cleveland for Evan Mobley and some other parts that makes the money work. Where Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden will make a run at it next season. Heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I don't know why I like that idea.
This will all be facilitated by Jimmy Haslam.
Man.
Did y'all forget that Jimmy Haslam also owns the Milwaukee Bucks?
Topical.
Yeah, Dan Gilbert gonna slide him a couple dollars for that stadium project. So yeah, man, let's make this happen. So
I'd said this before we went live. I really think they should have dealt him, and Scott mentioned it too a couple years ago, because now you're literally not going to get anything back for Giannis once he hits the market. And I know Milwaukee wanted to tank for draft position, but it's not going to matter how this whole story ends up. Milwaukee's going to end up looking bad regardless. And Scott mentioned it earlier, it's going to be probably one of the messiest divorces in NBA history. So, I mean, it's just bad all the way around. It's bad look for Milwaukee. It's a bad look for the NBA. Giannis is pissed because he's healthy and he doesn't get to play. He doesn't get to finish out his Milwaukee career on the court. He's just sitting on the bench instead. It's just a bad look all the way around, and unfortunately, that's going to be our lasting memory of Giannis Antetokounmpo in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform, is him sitting on the bench at the tail end of his Milwaukee career. So, and I'm sure wherever he ends up next season, he's going to have the Bucks game circled on his calendar immediately once that comes around. So, yeah, I just think this is not going to end well for either side.
Yeah, and speaking of things that end well, I just wanted to, just say this real quick because I made a mistake. So
Oh,
Alex Antetokounmpo was signed with the Bucks G League affiliate, the Wisconsin Herd. Costas Antetokounmpo was drafted by the Sixers and played for the Lakers, not the Bucks. So all of the Antetokounmpo brothers did not play for the Bucks. And then finally, guys, and we'll get up out of here on this one. I wanted to know, in terms of like really bad breakups between team and player, and I'm sure we got a couple of good answers on this one. Is this a worst split between player and franchise since Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs? Everybody remembers what was going on with Kawhi and Spurs and how they thought about his body, and his uncle was involved. There was a whole lot of stories, but at the same time, we did not hear anything from Kawhi Leonard while this was happening. But to leave a winning franchise like the Spurs is not really in a big comparison to what we're getting right now from the Bucks currently, but just situationally where the team and the player do not agree is where I'm at with it. Is this a worse look for both team and player than what it looked like for Kawhi leaving the Spurs? And we'll run out on that one. Who wants to go first?
In my mind, no question. Well, we haven't heard everything that's happened in the back of this. We only know some of it. We probably don't know all of it, and that will come out. Without question, this is going to be the worst breakup in NBA history. Kawhi was up there, but I think Giannis and the Bucks, the Bucks did this to themselves. They completely did this to themselves. And yeah, I keep going back to the Doc Rivers hire. He got rid of Adrian Griffin. Him himself went to management and got Adrian Griffin fired. So this is all on Doc Rivers, and he happens to be going in the Hall of Fame this year. But I just think this is the messiest breakup that I can remember.
yeah, it's prisoner of the moment. The messiest break is still Chris Paul. They just sent bro
Yeah,
home.
that's another one. True. True.
Just sent you home. How do
Now
you
it's different.
send?
Now Chris Paul was stirring the pot. Chris Paul was stirring the pot everywhere he went, and
Chris
we all
Paul
knew
was
that.
stirring the pot by discussing strategy with his teammates. That's stirring the pot. That's stirring the pot by saying, Kawhi, hey, you can't guard this dude. Maybe you should switch for a couple of possessions and let somebody who can actually guard this dude guard him. That's stirring the pot. But yeah, how do you just send a Hall of Famer home?
Scott, you got room in the nursing home for Doc, don't you? You can set up a room for him pretty soon. I mean,
Doc Rivers needs to go to prison for theft of a job.
Yeah, that's pretty much a crazy rise to power in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? But as far as breakups, man, I'm be honest. Like, yeah, Chris Paul is pretty bad. I mean, that was a breakup with I think the whole league. As far as not just a team, but it's just the way he was done in the league. Like nobody was like, hey, forget it. They don't want you there. You could come here. Like nobody stepped up to say, hey, you could come here. And that was weird to me. You know what I mean? But man, I still think there was some that are just as bad. Shaq and Kobe. You know what I mean?
Since Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but I would understand. I kind of think that Witt is kind of saying, like, as far as the team and the players concerned, not, I mean, pretty much like to date. I just I don't know.
I
I know
mean,
some that
No, it'll always be LeBron. Always be number one.
y'all don't even think. So how about Dwight Howard when he left Orlando and tried to get Stan Van Gundy fired?
Nope.
Ended up going to LA and ended up thinking that he was going to be so dominant in LA, and your best player in LA is calling you soft. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, choking out a coach, Latrell Sprewell. It's a pretty bad breakup.
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
But that wasn't the team. That was an individual. Yeah, individual differences.
I mean,
Remember when LeBron left? Not only did you have it between him and Dan Gill, you had people saying that his teammates was smashing this dude's mom. You had like it was crazy, bro. Everybody saying he quit on the team. It was a lot
Right after that,
when LeBron left.
Delonte lost his mind after all of that too. He
Yeah.
lost his complete mind.
And you
I'm-
had Dan Gilbert calling him Benedict Arnold. Like that whole situation was crazy.
I mean,
My fault, Alan. Real quick, I thought you was about to say something, but the UCLA game is it's a 3-point lead. UCLA 47-44 with like I think 40 something seconds left to go. And who has the ball?
I mean, speaking of Texas, if you ask anybody here
UCLA.
in the, I was gonna say, speaking of Texas, if you ask anybody here in the state of Oklahoma, the biggest Benedict Arnold of all time is Kevin Durant. I mean, leaving the team to go to the team you lost to in the Western Conference Finals, blew a 3-1 lead to in the Western Conference Finals to join that team just to go ring chase. I mean, at the very least, Russell Westbrook stuck it out till the very end. But, KD did his thing. He won his 2 rings, yada, yada. He's still never welcomed back in Oklahoma ever. So, although for some reason I think they're retiring his jersey number. I don't know why, but.
You don't know why they're retiring Kevin Durant's jersey.
So they don't have to bring it back.
He's still one of the greatest players ever played for the franchise.
He is. I mean, yes, but I will say if you ask like 95% of the people living in the state, they don't want to see his face ever again. I was like, it's literally like, again, I've mentioned before that I moved to Norman. Here in Norman specifically, it's like a battle between Kevin Durant and Lincoln Riley on who's the most hated person in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, we got it. Well, look, gentlemen, in the end, this has been a pretty good conversation. The season's coming to an end. Final 4 games are underway, pretty much being decided as we speak. Big shouts out to, once again, the ladies of Carolina coming through. Looks like we got a photo finish on the way from Texas and UCLA right now. Can't wait to catch pretty much the end of that after this is over with. And then, of course, man, we're going to be locked in for the men's Final 4 games tomorrow. And then the championship games the following week, man, Monday and Tuesday. It's a lot. Well, Sunday and Monday, really. So it's a lot going on. And I can't wait to join the guys back up again. Uncle Scott, thanks for joining us and giving your opinion. I know you had some strong comments about Gino on Thursday. So I'm kind of upset for you that, after saying he's one of the greats, he had some piss poor decisions in his attitude.
It's his attitude. I mean, you're going to lose. You're not going to win every game that you coach. So, listen, South Carolina was the better team tonight, top to bottom. No question. They deserve to win. So, sorry, but you didn't deserve to win tonight. So,
yeah. And you know what? We all deserve to win. So, for all the guys right here around the room, for the rec room.
Real quick, Whit. I apologize. Don't mean to interrupt you. Just want to let everybody know tomorrow. Lock It In will be at 9:30 Central Time, not 10:30. Tanner Scott. I think they're doing he's going to the Royals doubleheader tomorrow. So, yeah, Scott, 9:30 tomorrow, not 10:30. I'm sorry.
Guys like yeah. So make sure you tuned in for locking in tomorrow, guys. We will be back with more stuff coming up next week. We got a lot to talk about. The draft's on the way. Can't wait to hang with the gang. So for Jay, for Bobby G, for Uncle Scott, for AP, and for my screaming baby, we out to go. Peace.